enjoy using the Messmer Soldier Spear. It is a long, pierce damage weapon, and while it has a decent Great Spear moveset, is really carried by that charged heavy attack. So let's see how we can make a Great Spear build out of this. This weapon is a rare drop from the soldiers that wield it. And I'm gonna be honest with you fellas, I have no idea where exactly I got this weapon. It could have been on my first run through the DLC, or my most recent, or any of the 100 or so in between. You could tell me any one of those and I'd believe you. A ton of soldiers have this weapon on them, so wherever you want to farm, take your pick. Shadowkeep, Morth Ruins, Churches, Ensis. We can find a couple enemies with it, directly west of the castle front site of Grace. So if I had to choose one spot, it would be there. Now this weapon is no mere spear, but a great spear. So our moveset may be a tad slower than expected. Most of our moveset is going to be thrusting moves. The light attacks consist of this, as do the jumping attacks, but what I used most were those fully charged heavy attacks. It takes a bit to wind up, but when fully charged, it is a double hit thrusting move. It's all physical. Being in the pierce damage type, it deals counterattack damage, and it has solid poise damage as well. We will be basing the build off of this move. And because it is a single button press in this heavy attack, we're going to use the Ash of War to make it even better. That Ash this week is Royal Knight's Resolve. This increases the single damage hit of our next attack that lands by 80%. So if we were to stack this boost on top of an already strong move with something like the Spiked Crack Tier, the Axe Talisman, and the Two-Handed Sword Talisman, we will see huge amounts of damage, and that is not nearly all the buffs we can stack upon this move. Let's talk about the spells for a minute. Of course, you need Golden Vow. It has great duration, increases our attack and defense stat. Because this is a slower move, getting that defense up will be beneficial to us, because chances are, throughout a whole run, you're gonna end up getting hit once or twice. On top of Golden Vow, we have a couple options. We can either use Flame Grant Me Strength. This increases physical damage by 20%, and our Stamina Regeneration. This is the safer of the two moves, since our damage negation will not be reduced by it. If you feel like you can get a one-shot in, or easily not get hit by the boss, then Howl of Shabriri is what you should use instead of Flame Grant Me Strength. This increases your overall damage more, but will also give you a hefty penalty to damage negation. This is the spell I used early in the game, as even on Max New Game Plus, some of those starter bosses can be 1 or 2 tapped. We will be using the buffs in descending duration order. First, start with a Flask, then Golden Vow, then either the Howl or Flame Grant Me Strength, and then, within 10 seconds, since it wears off so quick, you need to use RKR to get in a fully powered hit right at the start of the fight. If you're playing on some lower New Game Plus levels, this might end the fight right here. And if you're feeling especially daring, you can use the Bloodsucking Crack Tier. This gives us an overall 20% boost to all of our damage at the cost of constant health drain. Unfortunately, our damage will taper off over the course of the fight if we don't end it quick, as RKR only lasts 10 seconds, as easy as it may be to recast. But re-upping the Howl or Flame Grant Me Strength will prove to be more difficult. So get in as many fully charged, Royal Knight's Resolve boosted heavy attacks right at the beginning of the fight. If it drags on, you'll still have that thrusting moveset to accompany you, but it won't be nearly as effective. That's why I used the Scaled Armor, so if need be, I could tank a hit or two. The question I want to ask all of you this week is, do you prefer spears or great spears? I honestly haven't used too much of them in my build videos, but if I have to choose between the two weapon types, I think I would choose great spears. Not for their moveset or anything, but because there are some really cool, unique great spears in the game. Namely, Mogwyn's Sacred Spear, the Spear of the Impaler, and Soluria's Tree. So let me know what you think down below. And as always, this video is sponsored by my dark fantasy novel, Follow the Gleam, out now, linked down in the description, audiobook coming soon. And for more build and Souls-like videos like this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to the Jersey side. Our talismans for the build were the Two-Handed Sword Talisman, for 15% more damage with the moveset, the Axe Talisman for better fully charged heavy attacks, the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman for better stamina regen, and the Dragon Crest Great Shield for 20% physical damage negation. The tiers I used were the Opaline Hard tier, later in the run, for a 15% boost to all damage negation, the Bloodsucking Crack tier earlier in the run, for a 20% boost to all damage at the cost of health drain, and always the Spiked Crack tier for a boost to fully charged heavy attacks. I used the Scaled Armor, but any armor set getting you into that 56 and above poise range is good, since it will aid you in not getting stunned during fights. Our stats for the build at RL 170 are 60 Vigor, 25 Mind for the incantations and RKR, 35 Endurance, 64 Strength to get us all the way up to 54, and I had 10 stat points left over, at least 16 Dexterity, and 33 Faith to use the Howl, Golden Vow, and Flame Grant Me Strength. Overall, this was a fine build. It was really based around that RKR charged up heavy attack, so outside of that, it was fine. We still had that Two-Handed Sword Talisman for all the weapon attacks, and with the Scaled Armor and Opaline Hard tier, you can outlast pretty much every boss. This run did take me a little longer than usual. That is because I am addicted to Code Vein right now. Not even Code Vein 2, Code Vein 1. Last week I uploaded the Zweihander build in that game, and I gotta say, I love it, so obsessed with it, and now I'm experimenting with other builds in Code Vein. So if you see another video like that, do not be surprised. But what I really want to do is use the Zweihander in other games and keep that series going. So if you want to see more build videos, more Souls-like videos, and more episodes of Try the Zwei, stay tuned for next Friday.